Hi folks. Well, happy Canada Day. It's July 1st, a little after 9 o'clock. Just beginning to get dark outside. And Canada is 150-year-old today. You know what's scary? I can remember when the Dominion of Canada was around for 100 years. I guess you know you're getting old when. I doubt I'll make 200 years. Anyhow, so here I am out in my lovely little shed without a generator running, off-grid, as some would say, in the middle of nowhere. And I got the lights on, can use this little table saw, and we're going to tackle a little project tonight. And as I talked to you, there's a couple of boats going up the river here at the top of the lake. So, a few years ago, I went out fishing in Algonquin Park with an old fellow. We went trolling for lake trout, and I've done that lots of times, out of a canoe, done that lots of times. But I've never trolled in a canoe where instead of paddling it, the old fellow rowed it. His name was Frank Quiak, and if you ever get a chance to read his book, Ron Corbett from Ottawa wrote a book about him called The Last Guide. And he's this old fellow that lives in Whitney, just outside of Algonquin Park, that's full of stories. So, I like to fish out of a canoe. We do have a 16-foot fishing boat, and I like to troll and fish out of it. But I really appreciate the solitude of a canoe. So when we bought the cottage, there was several of these seats, used boat seats, up in the eaves of the old shed. So of course I didn't throw them out, and I'm going to build a frame and going to put it in the canoe. And I'm going to mount some oar locks on the side of the canoe and put these oar horns on a couple of paddles, and I'm going to try rowing a canoe and trolling for lake trout. You know, it's funny, I just love old stuff. This old table saw, as my father-in-law would say, it's certainly old enough to vote. It's from Beaver, Canada, in Guelph. So I got the bottom part cut. Now all I've got to do is mark out this and put it on. So I'm going to do this really quick. And I'm going to use the swag theory for centering. That's where you eyeball it up and you take a scientific wild-ass guess. There, I mark them both in the same place. And I'll put a mark in the marks so I know they end up in the right place. And actually, I think it's time, it's 20 to 10, I think it's time I call it a night and go spend some time with my dear bride. So, we'll start up again this project in the morning. Morning, folks. Well, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. As I look out up at the sky, I see, oh, there's a tiny patch of blue. And this year, that's a beautiful day, and the rest is all clouds. What a year of rain we've had. Anyhow, after last year's drought, it's not so bad. So we're back out here this morning with, of course, a cup of coffee. We've had our oatmeal. I learned to sit on the deck and watch the world go by. Talk to a buddy fishing out in the lake. And I'm excited to get working on this little seat bracket. This morning I Googled this table saw. I thought I should find out a little bit more about it. So it's a post-World War II model 1200 Beaver. And man, I really like it. And it's only 8-inch. It's only a tiny little thing. But for here in my shed at the cottage, it works wonderfully. So I've got to make a bracket now to go from here to here to sturdy things up. And got another piece of 1-inch pine that I'm going to rip, fit in there, and I might even cut a little ellipse out of it and put it in. Here's an oldie. This is an old jigsaw that belonged to my father. And I just shortened the cord, put a new cord cap on it, and we're going to give it a whirl. It's an old More Power from Canadian Tire. here's the seat in the boat. And I think it's going to work just wonderfully, actually. I'm not going to fasten it in, obviously. And I think I'm going to row it in a conventional way where you face away from where you're going, where your back is towards where you're going. I think that would be the most productive. And it'll be nice fishing off the back of the boat. So we'll give that a whirl and see how it happens. So I'm going to carry the canoe down to the lake now, and I got to fit these oar locks in, decide where to put them, and against common sense, I'm going to drill some holes and mount some oar locks to the canoe and give it a whirl.